Alright guys, let's go ahead and quickly have a closer look at everything that comes included with the kit. So starting off with the VM20 camera itself, I'm going to be sharing with you guys everything you need to know about this camera throughout the course of this video. We do also have included with the kit this wireless remote control over here that's going to allow us to save some presets for the camera, also be able to enter the camera's menu settings and a few other features as well. Over here we do have a USB-C to USB-C cable with an included adapter over here to take us from USB-C to USB-A. This is going to allow us to connect this camera to our PC. Onto the left hand side here we do have a user manual and along with a quick start guide. Alright guys, let's go ahead and get a little bit more familiar with some of the specs and features of the VM20 over here. So starting off with the maximum resolution and frame rate, it can support up to 4K 30 frames per second and also up to 1080p 60 frames per second. We do also have a 10 times optical zoom lens over here with a 40 times hybrid zoom as well. That's definitely going to be a really nice feature. We can punch in and zoom in quite far. Over here we do have a status LED indicator, which is basically going to tell us which mode we are currently in. For an example, USB streaming, RTSP streaming, HDMI streaming, either the audio microphone is muted, etc. So we do have that status LED indicator right there at the front. If we take a look over here at the top of the camera, we do also have 8 internal microphones over here, which do support noise cancellation. So if we wanted to use the internal microphone, this is going to be definitely a fantastic feature if you're going to be, for an example, into a meeting, so everyone's voice and audio can kind of get picked up for that live stream or meeting. If we have a closer look over here at the back of the device, starting off onto the right hand side, we do have that USB-C connection, which is the power supply. We can just go ahead and simply use the cable that's included with the kit to power the device. Next over here, we do have the microphone input jack. So if you want to connect an external microphone, or if you wanted to connect, like for an example, a line in from like a mixer, you can also do that there as well. Over here, bottom right hand corner, we do have the RJ45 connection to supply a network IP address to this camera. Next over here, we do have another USB-C connection, and this one is actually going to be used to connect to our PC. So not only is it going to be able to communicate to our PC, but it's also going to power the camera as well. So you won't need both of these connected at the same time. You can just connect this one USB-C cable, which is going to communicate with your PC and also power the camera at the same time, which is really nice. Next over here, finally, onto the left hand side, we do have the HDMI output. For an example, we can go ahead and connect it to an external monitor, or maybe we want to use this camera with a live streaming video switcher. That could also be an option as well. If we go ahead and flip the camera over here towards the bottom, you will see that we do have a 1/4-20 thread for mounting, for an example, to a tripod. We do also have this nice little rubber grip over here. So if we just want to place it onto a table or desk, it could also be just simply placed onto there and not be sliding around everywhere. So overall, as you guys can tell, this camera does have some nice features. It is small and compact, and it only weighs approximately 560 grams. Alright guys, here's a quick little demonstration as I'm taking advantage of the HDMI output over here at the back of the VM20, and I'm sending it over here to this external monitor via the HDMI cable. So here we go guys, this is what the image quality looks like coming from the VM20 going over here to this external monitor, which is a fantastic feature. You'll also notice over here the status LED is actually purple because that is the color that it changes when you have connected your HDMI connection to the back of the VM20. So guys, next I wanted to go ahead and get you guys a little bit more familiar with this remote control that allows us to control the camera. So let's just go ahead and start off over here onto the top. We do have the power on and off button to power on and off the camera, obviously. Next over here, we do have the mute and unmute button onto the top right hand side. Next over here, we can actually go ahead and flip the image. So just to go ahead and give you an example, if we short press it, you can see the image over here flips from one side to the next onto the monitor and onto basically whatever we're going to be live streaming to. And we do also have the lock button over here onto the right hand side that allows us to lock the whole remote control so no buttons get pressed, for an example. Here we have our direction keys, which are going to allow us to navigate throughout the menu, and we can go ahead and press this center OK button button over here that's going to allow us to obviously enter and select, confirm those menu settings. How do we enter the menu? Well, we have this button over here onto the right hand side to allows us to pull up the menu, and you'll notice over here onto your HDMI output or when you have it connected to your PC. And as you can see over here, we do have some settings as far as the image and network general settings and the device info as well. So we can go ahead and enter in the menu and use these arrow keys, for an example, to go into different options. We can come over here into image, and underneath the image we can go ahead and adjust the brightness, contrast, saturation, hue, and the frequency, HDR, etc, etc. So similar to what we're going to have onto the PC, we have the same kind of options over here onto this wireless remote control. So just next to the menu button over here into the middle, we do have a button which is labeled as AI, which is going to enable auto framing or disable auto framing. So you can go ahead and select that right there. Over here we do have the back button, so once we're into the menu, for an example, and we want to exit out and close it, we can just go ahead and press this back button right over here. Onto the left hand side and onto the right hand side, these are our zoom buttons. So for an example, the one onto the left hand side is going to be a much faster zoom. As you can see, I'm zooming in, compared to if I were to go ahead and use the right hand side over here, which is zooming in or zooming out, but it's much slower. So depending on how you want to operate the camera as far as the zooming in, it's going to be able to do that right over here onto the left and right side. And for an example, say we are zoomed in on a subject and we want to quickly just kind of go back with one push of a button back to the widest shot, we can just go ahead and press this home button over here, and that's going to take us back to default, the home setting. Next over here, we do have this little icon which looks like a little image. This is going to allow us to change our different image profiles. So for an example, right now we're on portrait. Here we have dress. Here we have food. We have texture, outdoor, and back to standard. So in my preference, I like to use standard for my type of lighting environment that I'm going to be doing here indoors. Next over here, we do have the auto focus button. So one push of a button, you can just go ahead and tell the camera to auto focus. As far as the white balance button over here, similar, just go ahead and press it and it's going to auto white balance. Over here, we do have a bunch of buttons that are going to allow us to enable and save some presets. So we can easily configure that right over here by either just short pressing to call it up or to long press to save it, and long press to delete it. All right, guys, so here we are onto the PC, and I do have the VM20 connected to my PC with the USB cable that's included with the kit. So here we are onto the Nearstream website, and what we came here to do is actually download and install the NearSync software for the VM20. So let's just go ahead and click on this. It's going to take us to this page over here, and top right hand corner we do have the download link either for Windows or for Mac. So since I'm on Windows, I'm just going to go ahead and click on that. It's going to go ahead and simply download over here, and once it's done, I'm going to click on it, and what we're going to do is just double click on this file, agree, and also install, and in a matter of seconds or so it's going to run through the process over here, and it's going to be finished installing. So we're going to click on finish, and bingo, just like that, now we do have the NearSync software basically installed and launched over here onto our PC. So onto the left hand side you will see VM20, it is listed. Let's just go ahead and click on that, and now that we've clicked on it, you can see now we have the device name, device type, which is a camera, the firmware version, and along with the serial number. Next over here onto the left we have the device settings. So bingo, now we have a video image coming from this camera, and we do have some settings over here onto the bottom of the page. You can see we do have the horizontal flip, the vertical flip, the camera mode, we have panorama mode, and also the auto framing mode. We have audio enabled to either turn it on or off, and as well as the auto focus. Onto the right hand side here we do have some other configurations as far as the VSCA over IP port, the network, and the RTSP configuration as well. Next, let's go ahead and have a look at our video settings. Over here we do have control of the saturation, the brightness, the contrast, and the hue, and also the frequency, and we can also go ahead and enable HDR as well. Next over here we do have the device upgrade. So this is where we're going to be able to upgrade the firmware for the device if we need to, and we can go ahead and update it by just simply clicking this update button. So now that you guys are a little bit more familiar with the NearSync software, why don't we go ahead and have a closer look on how to connect this camera to OBS. So let's go over here to OBS. Let's go ahead and open up OBS. So what we're going to do, come over here underneath sources, and we're going to click on this plus icon to add a new source. And over here we do have a video capture device. So let's just go ahead and select this. Over here you can rename this. Let's call this VM20. Okay, let's select OK. And over here underneath the properties page, underneath devices, we want to go ahead and select the Nearstream USB VM20. So let's go ahead and select that. So perfect. We've added the video signal from the VM20 into OBS. Next, I want to go ahead and show you guys how to simply add the audio coming from the VM20 as well. All right, so for us to add the VM20 internal microphone into OBS as an example, we want to come over here to sources, click on this plus icon again, come over here to audio input capture, select that. Over here, we can give it a new name, VM20 audio, click on OK. And now over here underneath the properties devices, we want to select this drop down menu. We want to look for Nearstream USB VM20. So let's go ahead and select that, click on OK, and bingo. Now you guys are listening to the internal microphone coming from the VM20. Mic check 1 2 3, mic check 1 2 3. How does it sound? The camera internal microphone is just about an arm's reach away from me right now, and this is the internal microphone audio over here into OBS. I want to know what you guys think, how the audio sounds coming from this camera. So hopefully now you guys are a little bit more familiar on how to connect the VM20 to your PC, download and install that software, connect it, for an example, to a software like OBS or any other kind of streaming social media platform that you want to connect it to. So guys, if you are looking for an external microphone to use with the VM20 camera, Nearstream actually does have a nice wireless option over here. The model of this microphone is the AWM20D. I will leave a link for both this wireless microphone and the VM20 down in the description down below, and I may also even have a coupon code for you guys to use. All right guys, it looks like we reached that time of the video to give you guys my overall thoughts and opinion of the VM20. If you guys cannot tell already, I'm actually very impressed with the video image quality coming from this camera. Again, up to 4K 30 frames per second, and how can I not mention the 10 times optical zoom, which is definitely a really nice feature because we can zoom in all that way and still have that nice crisp quality, which is really nice. I do also like the HDMI output, which is a fantastic feature, along with the RJ45 and being able to connect to our PC. As far as the audio and the internal microphones, I do feel that they can be improved. It doesn't sound that great, but no big deal because we can connect, again, our external microphones if we want to. Overall, very impressed with this device. If you guys do have any questions or comments, let me know down in the comment section down below. I'll be more than willing to help you guys if I can, and I'm looking forward to seeing you guys onto the next video. Till next time, peace.